I was just a girl trying to make some money on the side of my photography business when I started selling a $59 ebook. I didn't have a huge following. I didn't run paid ads. It was just me, my laptop, and an idea. And that little $59 ebook went on to make over $500,000 in revenue. And it's the same model that's now bringing me $22,514 per month for me using Claude. So if you've been secretly wondering if selling ebooks or digital products could actually work without running expensive ads, without DMing people, and without doing those annoying one-on-one sales calls, you are in the right place. Today I'm sharing my whole story and how I'm using Claude to make this entire business model 10 times easier than it used to be. So stick around, I'm not holding anything back, let's dive in. Before I made a single cent from digital products, I had hit a wall. And from the outside, my life looked pretty great. And that's the dangerous part. I had built one of the top earning portrait photography studios in the country, multiple six figures a year, booked out and busy, which sounds amazing for a service provider, until you realize that booked out and busy eventually leads to burnt out and exhausted. Can you relate? I had zero time left to give. And I wanted to travel. I wanted so badly to move out of freezing cold Wisconsin. I wanted to spend more time with my friends and family. And I wanted to continue growing my income. But there was literally no time left on my calendar to give. So I had a decision to make. I could keep hustling 24/7, trading all of my time for money, or I could try something different. And that's when I heard about digital products at a women's business conference. I asked myself, what's the worst case scenario if I try this out? If it doesn't work, I'm simply right back to where I started. So I decided to go for it. I blocked off Fridays, I opened my laptop, and started researching. And I had a very specific list of things that I was not willing to do. I didn't want to DM people, I didn't want to run expensive paid ads, and I certainly didn't want to do one-on-one calls. The whole point of this is to stop trading my time for money and free up my calendar a little bit, right? I also looked into Etsy, but I hated the pay-to-play model. You gotta run ads, there's listing fees, it's a race to the bottom with low pricing, and I just didn't want to play that game. I wanted to build a real business that I owned online. What I wanted was a digital product that I could create once and sell it over and over an unlimited amount of times. No inventory, no shipping, and no more trading all my time for money. I wanted real time, location, and financial freedom. And that's when digital products clicked for me. Specifically with an ebook. It was simple, quick to create. I could create it once and sell it over and over again. And back when I first started selling digital products in 2014, the platform that worked for me best for getting leads to turn into sales was blogging and Pinterest. But don't do that. That is the outdated method. That is what worked in 2014, my friend. And this year is very, very different. Right now, what I'm doing is YouTube, what you're watching right now. And of course, if blogging and Pinterest still worked the way it did, I would be on there too. But I'm doing the thing that works right now and has worked for me since 2023. I tested every major platform over 6 months, tracking all the data with a data tracking software called Hyros, Hyros. And what I tested was Instagram, TikTok, blogging and Pinterest, all the social media platforms. YouTube blew them out of the water even before I really knew what I was doing. I got just 100 leads from the other platforms, and I got thousands of leads from YouTube doing long form specifically, not short form. This is long form, by the way, if you don't know what long form is. And if you want me to walk you through my entire simple business model for bringing in consistent sales every single day with my digital products, go ahead and register your free seat to my completely free on-demand training. It is linked in the description below this video. So here's where things got really, really good. Let me walk you through what I did. Because it wasn't me waving a magic wand, it was me creating a system that works consistently. And I almost screwed the whole thing up before I started, but we'll get into that in a second. Step 1 was simple. Start posting content consistently on YouTube. Once a week at least, every single week. I didn't wait until I had an audience, because if you just sit around and wait, you won't have an audience. You have to actually get started, right? And I get this a lot in my comments where people are like, easy for you to say you have a following. Do you think my following just fell out of the fucking sky? I decided one day to grow a following. I also had zero, my friend. I didn't come out of my mother's womb with a following on YouTube. That is just the silliest thing I've ever heard. All I did was one day I decided to grow an audience, and then I built one. You can do the same thing. The cool thing is it's free, so you really don't have any excuses. But if you don't want to grow a following online, that's okay. It's not for everyone. You don't have to. There's a million other things you could be doing, but this is the business model I love because it has brought me the most time, location, and financial freedom. All right, step 2 is to make what's called a freebie. Mine was a little one-page posing guide for photographers. It was a simple PDF that people could get delivered to their email. They just had to put in their name and email address. It would get emailed to them, and then they would get onto my email list. And that is how I turned my viewers into email subscribers. And this is one of the biggest mistakes people make is they'll just go to Claude and they'll be like, make me a freebie, or they'll make a whole ebook or a whole course or a mini course. Those are not good ideas for freebies. You want something where someone doesn't have to do anything. So with my posing guide, it was just like, here's a bunch of my top selling poses. And then they could bring those to their shoots, replicate those poses, and make more money. They didn't have to do anything, right? Another good example of a freebie I have below is my YouTube script template that brought me from 0 to over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now, the reason that's a great freebie is because it's simply just a template that I'm giving you that will help you to format and script your videos. There's really nothing more you need to do extra than what you're already doing. Another great example of a freebie would be some kind of tool. So are you kind of seeing the pattern here? You want to create something where people don't have to like read a bunch of stuff or watch a bunch of videos. They just download it, they put it to use, they get a result. That is how you're going to build really quick know, like, and trust with your audience, which will have them turning into buyers way more quickly. And this is where Claude gets really, really cool. You can build a Claude project and upload all of your past content. If you don't have any, you can use something like Whisperflow or audio files to speak all of your content into training a Claude project. I have been absolutely obsessed with Whisperflow. I use it to respond to comments, to write all of my content, my scripts, my newsletters, my emails, everything. It makes everything so much faster. I don't have to type all the time. My wrists feel way more amazing. If you know, you know. Okay, step 3 is where your freebie is going to grow your email list. And once I hit 200 subscribers on my email list, I send them a survey. I create this for free using Google Forms. And in the survey, I ask them just a few questions, basically dialing in, trying to figure out what is their number one pain point, because that is what you want to create your digital product around. People don't desperately and quickly purchase something that's like a nice to have, right? They have problems they want solved. And if you're showing them that your digital product is going to solve that problem for them, that is when they will pay you. But here's where I made one of my biggest mistakes. Before I did this whole survey thing, I launched a paid posing guide because I just assumed that that's what my audience wanted. Well, spoiler alert, it flopped big time. And that is when I learned this hard lesson that you don't just create what you want, you don't create what you assume people want, you actually ask them what they want, figure out their biggest pain point, and then create a digital product to help solve that problem for them. So when that survey came back, it turned out they didn't want to learn posing at all. Their biggest pain point was they wanted to book more clients. So when I created my ebook model call, which helped them to book more clients using my exact method that I used to book my studio up to 10 clients every single week, that is when my ebook started selling like wildfire. It started selling like crazy. People were giving me testimonials saying they were literally making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in their photography studio using this method. And it was only $59. I know I probably should charge more for it, but it sold over $500,000. People were talking about it in Facebook groups. They were telling their friends. Like, we were getting a lot of purchases without having to do a lot of marketing because the product was that good. And that is the power of product market fit and the power of actually getting people results with your digital product, which you need to do. So don't assume what your audience wants. Don't create what you think would be fun to make. Unless you want to have a hobby, that's fine. But if you're here to make real money and build a real business that's going to give you real freedom, then you have to actually solve their most painful problem. That's going to be the difference between a flop or a hobby and a $500,000 ebook. And listen, my ebook didn't sell because it was about photography or because it was about booking more clients or because I got lucky. Again, it sold because it actually got people results. I know I've said this a couple times, but I really can't drive this home enough. Quick sponsor mention before we keep going. .online domains. And I actually want to talk about this because it's relevant to anyone building something online. When I launched that $59 ebook, one of the first things I had to figure out was where it was going to live online. And your domain name matters more than most people realize. If your customers see a long, clunky domain, you can kiss that sale goodbye. First impressions are everything, and your URL is part of that. .online is the perfect domain extension for business websites. With most good .coms already taken, .online gives you a clean, credible domain name. Something like yourbrand.online. It's clear, it's professional, and it tells people exactly what you do before they even click. And millions of businesses trust and use .online. Coaches, course creators, educators, and e-commerce sellers. And because the word online is used in over 500 million search inquiries every single month, having it in your domain gives you more visibility on search engines. And that's a tailwind before you've done anything else. You can grab a .online domain at all major providers like GoDaddy, Namecheap, and Squarespace. But if you want a special deal, check the link in the description and use code MOLLY to get yours for just 99 cents. Okay, next let's talk about AI because I get this question in my comments almost daily. Molly, aren't you afraid AI is going to kill digital products? And every time I see it, I think the same thing. Saying AI is going to kill digital products is like saying Google search is going to kill digital products. Because that's really what AI is. It's just congregating free information available on the internet, which is also what Google does. And yes, Google and AI can technically give you step-by-step instructions on how to do something. Yet, here we are, and here you are watching this video. The truth and the data is that digital products are selling more now than ever before. Why? Because step-by-step information isn't enough. If it was, you'd already have a successful digital product business by now, right? People need proven frameworks from people who have gone before them, not just congregated random information in a step-by-step order online from a robot. They also need things like scripts, tools, community, and group coaching. And again, someone who is real, who has really gone through this and knows what it's like to succeed with digital products today. Listen, there's a million different paths on how to do anything in life, but people will buy your digital product because they want yours, because you are successful with that thing right now and they want to learn how you specifically are doing it. They also will buy from you because they simply like and relate to you. There's a lot of other digital product teachers out there, and that's totally cool because the people who relate to their story will buy from them, and the people who relate to my story will purchase from me. This is also why I love memberships so much. I feel like it is the most AI-proof digital product out there today. Members get your program, your scripts, your templates, your tools, but they also get the community and the weekly Q&A calls or coaching calls, however you want to run it. They're also getting accountability and access to real humans. And AI simply can't replicate that. And here's the wild part. Claude actually helps us make our digital products and memberships better. Inside Freedom Creator Club, I have a video on how to price your digital product. So with Claude Cowork, I took the information from that lesson and I built it into an actual pricing tool. So all you have to do is answer a few questions and it will tell you the recommended price for your digital product. This is a tool that even last year would have taken us hours, days, or weeks to build. Maybe we would need to get some really techie person to build this out. Today, you can build this in Claude Cowork in literally 3 minutes, and it will even with one click of a button host it online. So it is a live working tool that you can share with your students. So is AI going to kill digital products? No. But it is going to help you get your students' results way faster. I truly believe if there was ever a time to be selling digital products, it is right now. It has never been easier to create things like content and programs, digital products, scripts, tools, templates. Not only create them faster, but create them better. It's kind of like the beginning of the internet all over again, and I really hope you'll get on board. So here's some more examples of how I'm using Claude in my business today. Most people are just using AI like ChatGPT and Claude as a chatbot, and that's where they're going wrong. Because I'm using Claude in basically every single step of my workflow every day in my business. We're talking for creating content, products, marketing, even outreach, and not to replace me or anyone on my team, but to make my team and myself 10 times plus more efficient. The amount of things we've been able to get done recently is insane. We actually had to move our Google Drive to a new Google Drive. If you've ever done this and you have a lot of files, you know that this will take literally weeks, if not months, but my DOO was able to use Claude Code to move this over automatically overnight. It's insane. But here's what I'm using it for. First, YouTube scripts. And no, I'm not just going to Claude and have it write a script. I have a Claude project that I took many hours to train specifically on my marketing, my messaging, all 300 of my past YouTube scripts, any other past content I've created, any meetings, pretty much any content I have that is going to train Claude on how I talk, how I want to sound, what are my frameworks and different things I want to talk about. Now, if I had to write a script from scratch, it would take me literally days, but I'm able to write up to 4 scripts in just a few hours because of this. I'm able to train Claude, have it pump out my scripts. And by the way, my YouTube script template is linked below and you can use that to train Claude if you want. It's totally free. It's super, super helpful. And then my time is just spent reviewing and perfecting the draft. The second thing, which I kind of touched on, is taking my program and membership content and adding in done for you tools, templates, scripts, things like that. I'm always looking for ways to make things easier on my students, to help them get things done faster and easier so they can get results as quickly as possible. Oh, the other thing I do with scripts that I forgot to mention is I use Whisperflow. And what's so cool is I literally will just talk for like 15, 20 minutes about everything I want to cover in the video. And that is also how I'm getting my scripts like exactly how I'd want them. The third thing I'm kind of obsessed with right now is using Claude for outreach automation. So if you go to Claude Cowork, you can go to Claude Cowork scheduled tasks. And I trained a scheduled task for every single Monday to draft 10 emails in my inbox that are pitching me on different podcasts. So I trained it on what type of podcast I'm looking for, what are the criteria, what type of things I'd want to say in my pitch. I trained it on our pitch template. And now I'm able every single week to pitch myself on 10 different podcasts, all totally automated. All I do every Monday is I go in, I read through the drafts, I make sure everything's accurate, ready to go, and I hit send. And if you want my exact step-by-step system for finding which profitable digital product you should sell, how to actually launch it, and how to automate your sales, and go ahead and register your seat for this totally free on-demand training. It is linked in the description below this video. So this is a lot of great information, but where do you actually start? Here's what I would do if I was starting over from scratch and wanted to make digital product sales with Claude as soon as possible. Step one is figure out your niche. What is something that you could help people with or a problem that you could solve for people? Step two is start posting within that niche every single week on YouTube. Step three is to create a freebie so you can start moving your YouTube viewers to email subscribers because they convert 40 times more to sales than selling on social media alone. Then what you want to do is actually pre-sell your digital product. You want to create a checkout page. What's the digital product title? What's included? What's the price? So that they can buy it and let them know the date it will be available. Give yourself a few weeks time so that if you sell it, you can actually create it. And if you don't sell it, then you can start over and not waste days, weeks, months, years building out a digital product that nobody buys. And remember, I did all of this carving out just one day per week and it wasn't even a full work day. You can get started on the side of what you're doing, whether it's a current business you have or a 9 to 5 you're working. You don't have to go all in at first. You can start like I did, where you dip your toes in, make some money, and then slowly but surely you can start dividing your time how you'd like. Maybe you want to be an artist 50% of the time or creative 50% of the time, and the other 50% of the time you want to be selling your digital products. Or maybe you eventually want to go full time. That's totally cool too. And remember, you don't need a degree, you don't need certifications, you don't need a huge following. You just need your knowledge, your experience, your willingness to actually show up and do the work, and a system to follow that is proven to work. And again, Claude will make this system 10 times faster and easier for you to implement. If there was ever a time to be creating and selling digital products, the time is now. This is like the beginning of the internet all over again, so don't miss out. And if you're ready to take action, you're ready to make your first digital product sales and then automate them for consistent income, go ahead and register your seat to my totally free on-demand training. It is linked in the description below this video. Now that you know how selling digital products with Claude has completely changed my life, you might be wondering, okay, Molly, but how do I actually get started selling digital products without a website? And you can learn all about that right here, because when you pair what you just learned with what's in this video, it's going to be way more powerful. See you in the next one.